Back with another live stream. Had some technical difficulties just a moment ago. Started the stream and like nothing happened. Like the screen was black. So we're restarting the stream. Hopefully the people that were there before come back. I'm gonna take a minute. I'm gonna check my phone, make sure the stream is live. But all this goes to show folks that I think we're gonna be dropping too much truth. They already trying to stop the stream. Okay, I see people tuning in. Okay. We're here. We got a good one today, folks. We got a good one today. We got a good one. We're here. Good to see you. Let me get this set up. I'm on my phone today. Back on the phone. I'm gonna give some people time to come on through. This is a good one today, folks. Yeah, it might be too much truth. I'm just gonna warn y'all. Today might be too much truth. We might be getting a little too deep. Might be getting a little too deep today, but we're here for it. You got to talk about this stuff from time to time. Every stream can't be, ha funny Q&A. Sometimes we got to talk. Sometimes we got to get real with it. You know what I mean? So good to see y'all. I'll let you know there's probably one where I talk a lot. But keep the comments going, keep them flowing. I do read them. If there's something you just got to add, there's a super chat. That's all we're gonna say on that. I'm gonna wait till a few more people get in here, then we're gonna jump right into it. Jade, I appreciate you telling people hit the like button. That helps. That definitely helps. We are gonna be talking about how we've all been programmed to stay in the matrix. Y'all know what I mean when I say the matrix. I mean the system. This societal space we find ourselves in. Yeah, I got my pen and paper today. I'm ready. This system we find ourselves in that people just seem to stay in, even though it's not working for them. Have you ever wondered why we continue to take part in a system that isn't working for most of us? That's what we're going to talk about today. We got some stuff written down, but a lot of it's just gonna as it comes up, we're gonna go. Just gonna give it a couple more seconds and we're gonna go right in. I'm actually waiting until like 100 people come in. That'd be cool. And by the way, we just hit that. We're about to get to it. By the way, folks, let's keep it positive. I just want to say in the beginning, please no like doom and gloom, anything crazy like that. Any doom and gloom, fear mongering will get blocked. We're just gonna be talking. So hold on real quick. I gotta do something already. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna let it go because it wouldn't let me block it. But no doom and gloom, none of that, nothing political. Let's just keep it, whatever. Let's keep it friendly, truthful, honest, no negativity. All right, let's get right to it. So, we've all been programmed. The reason why we put up with the system, the matrix, so many of us put up with it, and even though it's obviously not working for most of us, is because we've been programmed to think that that's the way we should live. We've been programmed to believe that's the right way to live. Okay? And if we're going to have this discussion, we have to start with why. We have to start with understanding and breaking down why we were programmed to live this way. I think a lot of us will be like, yeah, there's something going on. This is by design. This isn't by accident. But we have to ask ourselves why. Why have we all been programmed? And I want to start here. And this is kind of where I started from that allowed me to see a lot of the matrix. Okay. It came from the financial side, right? So we live in a society that in order for our society, our economy, and these days they're one and the same. The economy dictates the society for a lot of us, the countries we live in. For our society and our economy to continue, you, me, we all have to spend money. Okay? In order for this thing to keep going, we have to spend money, and pretty much all of our money to keep it going. In order to keep this thing going, we have to spend all of our money. But it gets deeper than that. And this is where and this is where it gets really like diabolical. Not only for this system to keep going, not only, Kevin, I appreciate that super chat squad. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Said hashtag positivity stream. Peace and love to all. Love you, Tim and friends. Love you too, Kevin. Thanks for the support. Okay. Manolo, I'm gonna be real with you. You got one more and then you're blocked. Let's just keep it surface level. Okay. So not only, thank you, Kevin. Not only do you have to keep the system going, not only do you have to spend all of your money, but you also have to go into debt to keep this thing going. We live in a debt-based system, a debt-based economy, which means for it to keep going, me, you, the average person, has to spend all the money they make and then some. I mean, take a minute to think about that. In order for the world to keep going the way it's going now, we have to spend all of our money and then some. Like, if you took every penny you made and spent it on stupid stuff, that would not be enough to keep this thing going. You ever thought about that? That would not be enough. If you took every penny you ever made and spent it, that would not be enough. The economy would still collapse. You have to spend all of your money and then some and go into debt. You have to spend the money you haven't even made yet for the system to continue. And that's why they need you in this system. And that's why you've been programmed. Because if enough people leave the system and they start doing other stuff with their money, they stop getting in debt, things of that nature, it all comes crashing down. But think about this. If you're spending all your money and then some, that's not an environment where me, you, the average person can create wealth. If all my money's spent and I'm being like programmed to believe I need to spend more money I don't even have yet, how am I supposed to get wealth? You do realize like the average person, if they're lucky, gets to the end of their life and they own a home and like a car. The average person, if they're lucky, if they did it right, gets to the end of their life and they own like a house, maybe, and a car. And people are like, oh, success. She did it right. He did it right. The average person who doesn't do it right dies paying rent, right? And maybe has a little junker car. And I'm talking about America here, but one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Have you ever thought about that? The average person dies with like, paying rent in a car, no money in the bank. Because they have to keep you spending all your money and going into debt, or the whole thing falls down. Hence the programming. Because I personally think that a lot of this stuff, they didn't start out. I don't think they started out to be like, let's make everybody wage slaves. Okay. I really think that, the 40s and the 50s, I think there was a time when the powers that be wanted a system where, for the most part, people, could have a home and, one person could work and you could have a home. And, a lot of the things people were sold, I think there was a time where like they really wanted that for people. Because if I'm in power, I realize the happier my people are, the better the country is. So I think there was a time when like they wanted everyone to not have to work endlessly. Okay. They wanted everyone. Okay. I don't know how else to say it. Like, keep it whatever. I think there was a time they wanted people to, have decent work and also free time and be able to live in the suburbs and have the American life, the American dream. I think there was a time they wanted that. But as the system went on, I think greed played a big part of it, but also they started to see that like, oh, in order for us to like keep reaping in these major profits and all this other stuff we're doing, we got to start changing some stuff up. This system has to keep going, and the only way to keep it going is for people to work, 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 and then we take all their money. Ron, check it in. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate that. Super Chat Squad. So the last day for my job was Tuesday. My coworkers gave me their contact information to keep in touch. Was I wrong for throwing all their phone numbers in the garbage before I left the building? Not at all, Ron. Not at all. Not at all. Those people are coworkers. If they ain't your friends, if you didn't already have their contact information, they probably not your friends. They just trying to stay in your business, see what you're doing. Congratulations, Ron. Glad you made it to the last day. Super Chat Squad. Thank you. So that's why the program is there. Because it has to be there or this thing comes falling down. Not to mention the people at the top don't keep reaping these massive, gains in wealth if the thing falls down. So that's why the program is there. That's why the program is there. Because it has to be there or this whole thing goes away. And now I want to talk about some of the things they use. Some of the things they use to like keep you in the matrix. Some of the things they use to keep you in the matrix. And we already touched on one. And you'll notice all these things kind of come together. You'll notice all these things kind of piggyback off each other. They all come together. We already talked about a big one. That one's debt. The big one is debt, man. The big one is debt. And well, not a subset, but something that's kind of tied with that is bills. So maybe we'll touch on bills, then we'll go into debt. But bills, man. Get you paying a lot of unnecessary bills. Get you paying a lot of unnecessary bills. They give you a lot of these options for things you don't need. You pay a lot of bills. And then like when you can't afford the bills, you put it on the credit card. When you don't have money for something, you go into debt. I mean, let's start at the beginning. The first debt most people incur is student loan debt. I'm not anti-college. I'm not anti-higher education. I am anti you telling people their whole life since kindergarten, since pre-K, that they have to go to college. And then when they turn 17, 18 and still aren't really adults yet, still can't legally drink or smoke or none of that. Not saying you should do any of that, but still, we're saying, oh, there's a lot of stuff they're too young to be able to decide for themselves, but yet they're old enough to sign a paper and put themselves $40,000, $60,000, $80,000 in debt. You'll notice that as soon as possible, they get you in debt. As soon as possible. You turn 18, they're sending you credit cards in the mail. I didn't ask for these credit cards. They send them to you. They send you free money for all intents and purposes because they're trying to get you in debt as soon as possible. And then they've told you your whole life you have to go to college. They give you the money. They will give you the money. This doesn't ring in. Nowhere. Anytime someone is willing to just hand you money as an 18-year-old and you got no job or no source of income or no way of, no, that is not how loans typically go. That is not how loans typically go. They do not just mail you money. They don't let you sign for tens of thousands of dollars. This is like the only time in your life they'll do that. This is like the only time in your life that they'll be like, yeah, sure, sign up for $20,000 for 1 year of college. Sure. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, like, you got to think about this stuff. Hey, random thoughts. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Super Chat Squad said, keeping it real. You rock. Thank you. My girlfriend and kids watch and love your info. Hey, shout out to Random Thoughts and the girlfriend and the kids. Hey, we try to be real. It might be too much truth in this one, but you got to think about this. Thank you. Super Chat Squad. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You mean that don't strike nobody else as crazy? I'm 45, broke, can't get a loan, but they'll send my 18-year-old son free credit cards. Let my daughter sign up for expensive colleges. It's because they're trying to get you in debt as soon as possible. As soon as possible, ASAP. And from there, they got you. Once again, I'm not anti-college. I'm not anti-higher education. I just don't like the system. I don't like the fact that they program you to say you won't be successful unless you go to college. And I don't like the fact they've made college so expensive. I was talking to my dad the other day about how much college was when he went. I almost fell out my chair. I said, that's cheap. I might have went. He was like, yeah, back then you go to college and support yourself with a part-time job. You know, get out and have no debt or very little. This was this century. Actually, no, it was last century. It's 20. It was the past 40 years. It's crazy. And then once they get you, okay, so I spent all this money on a college education. Now I have to get a good job. Now I have to get a good job. Okay, so that totally wipes out you being able to follow your passion, unless you're fortunate enough. Some people do, let's be honest here. Some people go to college for their passion, get out, get a job in their passion. Most of us won't. So for most people, the fact that you already got this debt puts pressure on you. Oh, I got to get a good job to pay the bills, to pay down this debt. So now you're not going to work where you want to work, follow your creative, your creative leanings and your passion and all that. No, now you got to jump right into the job market. Oh, and they'll give you a job. They'll give you a job. They've always had work for the masses. Back in the day, they just didn't have to pay you. It's called slavery, indentured servitude. Now they have to pay you. Slavery was messy. We've moved on from that as a people in general. But it's the same game. We'll give you a job. We'll pay you peanuts. And guess what? Because we know we're getting it all back. It's the same game. It's the same. They get it all back. They'll give you a job because all the money you make, you have to give right back to them. And the money you haven't even made yet, you already owe them because you already got debt. Right? So now you have to settle for like whatever job that comes along that's in your field or close to your field or not even close to your field, that, you know what I mean? And you can't leave because of the debt. You see how this works? This is how they keep you trapped. You can't leave because of the debt. You got to stay working this job you hate. And then to like make your life even worth living, you pick up, all these bills and extra things you do. When you get to the house, you got, every single streaming platform because you got to have something to watch. You might pick up a habit, you pick up a vice. That keeps you locked. You can't do no positive thinking about breaking free from the system and bettering your life when you got habits, you got bills, and it just keeps going on and on and on, right? This whole time too, other things. They're telling you certain lifestyle you have to live. You go to this gut job you got, everybody looks at you crazy because you're not married. Everybody looks at you crazy because you don't have kids. They've been telling you since the day you were born, you have to get married, you have to have kids. Once again, I'm not anti any of this. I got some wonderful friends that are married. I'm so happy for them. I got really good friends that just had kids, about to have kids. I'm happy for them. But some of this is part of the programming. Any of us who don't have it, no. You get looked at, you get picked on, you get whispered and talked about if you don't have these things. That's programming. And they do that because these are the type of things that lock you even further in the system. You got responsibilities now, Chad, Sarah. I'm just picking random names, people. Sorry if I'm hitting people's names who are in the chat. You got responsibilities. You can't chase after your passion, chase after your dreams. You got children. Now you got to have a place for everybody to stay, so you have to buy a super overpriced house. Anybody who thinks houses are normal prices right now must not be living nowhere near where I'm living. But you got to have a house because rent's just as high. Got to have a place to stay. Trapped. It all, I'm telling you, it starts and never stops. It starts and never stops. Once they get you in that debt trap, once they get you in responsibilities, where can you go? Hey, Awaken Pennsylvania said the term teenager is a myth. It's a 20th century invention. Teens are young adults. It was invented by G. Stanley Hall, who was a Freemason. He also invented the school system to make workers. Read the book Teen 2.0. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate the love, Super Chat Squad. And I appreciate the eye-opening comment there. Okay, G. Stanley Hall. I have to look into that. Okay. I can believe that. Thank you. Super Chat Squad. Appreciate that. Check that out, people. Once they get you trapped in there, and then there's more. All that would be bad enough. So there's more. There's more. There's more subtle like programmings that go on. Have you ever noticed that like all of us on some levels hate ourselves or hate something about ourselves? You ever notice that? If you go up to pretty much anyone, they will tell you, you can ask or just wait long enough, they'll bring up in conversation something they don't like about themselves, something they hate about themselves. We've all done it. We all do it, or we've all done it. This self-hatred is part of the programming. It's part of the programming because we've been shown images of what is acceptable as far as beauty and all these other things our whole life. We have been taught that we're not good enough our whole life. It could be beauty, athleticism, intelligence, whatever, health, whatever. We have been taught our whole life that we are not good enough unless we buy something. You ever notice that? You don't see it. Like, you really don't see it unless you start looking for it. But you have been told your whole life you are not good enough unless you buy this. Hey, Potent to Rockstar. Thank you. Super Chat Squad. Super Chat Train. Actually, thank you. Said it's all a big trap. Thanks for keeping it real and positive, Tim. Hey, that's what we do. That's what we're here to do. That's my passion. And I appreciate the support. Thank you. Potent the Rockstar. Thank you. This is a big one. Like, you were taught that you're not good enough as you are. But if you buy our makeup, if you buy our exercise machine, if you buy our pills, if you buy our cologne, if you buy our clothes, if you buy our car, then you'll be good enough. Or good enough until we have something else to sell you. Because it's not, to us, it seems normal because we've grown up in this society. But it is not normal to dislike yourself. It is not normal to dislike yourself. You know what I mean? Like, if you really think about this stuff. Hey, thank you. Super Chat Squad. Coming through with the pounds. International Super Chat Squad. International Super Chat Train. We in the building. So thanks for your hard work. You're much appreciated, Tim. Hey, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. And I appreciate your support because that helps to keep the hard work coming. I appreciate that. Coming through with the pounds. Coming through from across the pond. Thank you. It is not normal to hate yourself. Kids don't hate themselves. We start hating ourselves around about 8 or 9 when we really start paying attention to the commercials. When we really start paying attention to the commercials, we start not liking ourselves. When we really start paying attention to the images on the internet and the TV, we start not liking ourselves. And you know what's crazy? We think that it was always this way because all the TV shows and movies we watch about the past, people act like it was that way. But I'm starting to wonder. We think it was always this way. Oh, it's just part of the human condition to dislike. I don't think so. And even if it was there, it wasn't on this level. It wasn't on this level. Like, it is not normal to dislike everybody. Everybody has something they dislike about themselves. All of us. There has to be something affecting all of us. It's the programming. And it's another way they get you to spend their money. Spend your money, excuse me. They get you to spend your money. Because we're always out there looking for something else that will make us like ourselves better and, just as important to a lot of people, make other people like us. But the beauty of it is it's a lie from their standpoint. The beauty of it is that it's a lie because that way you keep spending money. Now, if it was true and you could buy a pair of Jordans and your life would be magical, you'd only have to buy one pair. And once again, I'm not saying anything is wrong with buying things you like. I'm just saying if you're buying them because you're feeding into the programming and you think it's going to change your life, that's a problem. We all have products we like to buy, and they do bring some level of enjoyment a lot of times to our life. But we also know we've either done it or other people have done it, bought stuff because what we think it says about us to other people. We were not the slightest bit interested in it. But we heard this name brand in a rap song, so we bought it so that when people saw us with it, they would think something about us. But here's the thing, like, it doesn't scratch that itch for long, so guess what? You have to go back and buy something else. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. So you create this perpetual consumerism and materialism that can never be satisfied. Because every time you think you scratched one itch, you think you plugged one hole, they come up with something else wrong with you. You ever wonder why they just suddenly out of nowhere start talking about shingles again? Mesothelioma? All this other craziness? Do you really think the shingles numbers went up in America or in your country? No. But it's a good way to get people running to their doctor. Oh, there's something wrong with me. My skin is itching. I must have the shingles. Let me go down there and get treatment and or pills, which these days pills is about the same treatment, about the same thing. I'm telling you, it's all a game. Perpetual consumerism, perpetual materialism, perpetual fear. Fear is another way they keep you spending your money. Oh, fear is another way they keep you spending your money. It's always something. It is always something. And guess what? There's always something to buy. Do you think about it? It's always something. And right on cue, there's always something to buy. Which keeps you broke. Keeps you going to work. Keeps all your mind wrapped up in all that stuff. You don't have time to think about getting out the system. You don't have time to think about getting out the system. It's not normal to hate yourself. You know what I mean? And you'll notice when people like start breaking free. When people start breaking free, most of the people I know don't buy as much crap. You ever notice that? One of the universal themes. I noticed this before I even knew what any of this stuff was. I was just interested in living in smaller spaces. I just thought it was cool when people were living in tiny homes and vans and stuff. This was back before it got popular, right? This was back before all that was popular. This was 2013 or something, 2012. I just thought it was cool. I just thought it was cool that people were living in smaller spaces. I'm a tall dude. I like small spaces. I don't know. But I noticed almost to a woman, almost to a man, everybody doing it was like, yeah, I discovered minimalism. I stopped buying all this extra stuff. Everybody was saying that. I didn't even know what minimalism was. But I'm like, wait a second, what is what is this? And it wasn't like all of them were doing it because they're like, oh, I was going to live in a smaller space, so I had to get rid of stuff. Most of them discovered that, and then they decided to live in a smaller space. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, what is this minimalism thing? Awakened Pennsylvania coming through again. Thank you. Super Cat Squad says you don't even own your home. Mortgage means death pledge from old French law. A lot of things in the USA is a scam. I agree with you about mortgages. You know, the fact that we don't think a 30-year mortgage is crazy is insane to me. Super Chat Squad, I appreciate the support. And you got mortgages all over the world. So there's a lot of this stuff is all over the world. I talk about the US because I live here. A lot of this stuff is universal. It's worldwide. I think it's funny that people will say, I feel like my life is over at 35. I feel old at 35, but will sign a 30-year mortgage. That's right. He was, I'm 40. I feel like my life is over, but he'll sign a 30-year mortgage. Like, okay. Anyway, okay, moving on. Hey, Ron coming through again. Thank you. Super Chat Squad. And we're definitely going to start getting this to the solutions, folks. We're definitely going to start getting to the solutions. Ron coming through said debt elimination is the first step to escaping the matrix. The second step is learning to let go of materialism. Those two steps will lead you to freedom. I absolutely agree, Ron. Absolutely agree. Appreciate the support. Debt elimination, letting go of materialism. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about that. Super Chat Squad, thank you for the support. Super Chat Trade. So yeah, one thing I have noticed is that so many people, when they start trying to live outside of the system, one of the first things they do is stop buying so much crap. One of the first things they do is let go of materialism, consumerism. They stop buying so much crap they don't need. They don't give into it. You know, they don't fall for it and feel like, oh, I have to buy this for that. I need this to be loved. I need this to be looked up to. I need this to be fulfilled. They just stop buying crap. Yeah, if you can break free, like Ron said, if you can break free from the consumeristic, it doesn't mean you can't buy anything, but the consumeristic, materialistic, I have to buy. Nothing you really have to buy except like food and water. You know what I mean? Like, and clothes, you know what I mean? Like, if you could break free from the I have to buy, and definitely from the I have to buy expensive name brand. Lehigh S, I see you. Super Chat Squad. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Thank you. Lehigh S in the building. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you can break free from the I have to buy, and especially from the I have to buy this expensive name brand, does nothing more than the cheaper version, but it has a different name on it. If you can break free from that, you'll start to like save more of your money. And the more of your money you save, the more your wealth you hold on to, the more you can put that towards getting out the system. A lot of the reason we stay trapped is because we just blowing our money on dumb stuff because we think it's going to make us feel better about ourselves. But at the end of the day, we're already okay. We're already beautiful. We're already amazing. You don't have to like better yourself in a lot of these things. Now, if you want to grow as a person, cool. But a lot of our looks and all this other stuff and how we dress, you don't have to change that. You just have to get that programming out your mind and realize you're already amazing. You're already beautiful. You're already awesome. Just gotta get the programming out. Stop buying crazy stuff. And the next one, yes, is the debt. The next one is the debt. Debt is a soul sucker. Debt is a joy killer. When so many people live in paycheck to paycheck, and then they already owe like their next 10 years of paychecks. It's bad enough when you got to go to a job you hate or you dislike. It is horrible. It is horrible when you have to go to that job knowing that you're going to work your butt off for 50 hours this week and still not have no money. Now, if you just unfortunately haven't got to that level where you're making the money you need to be making, that's different. But if you're making good money, but it's all going to the bills and the debt, come on. Like, that's just not a scenario where you can thrive. And like I said, if we do get ourselves in these situations, or if you're in a situation like this, it's not really our fault because like we've been told to do this. If the programming wasn't there, we would not be doing this. So it is kind of our fault for, we did do it. We did do these things to ourselves. If we get in debt, most of us did it to ourselves. But you can take solace in the fact that like it wasn't, most of these weren't your ideas. If you hadn't grown up in an environment where they told you this is what you do, where people were like, oh, everybody has debt, that you have to have debt. Somebody in the chat right now will be talking about how debt is awesome. Programming. If you hadn't grown up in that environment, you probably wouldn't have made the same moves. This is why I love talking about alternatives. This is why I love talking with people and watching videos of people who are doing it differently, because it like opens my eyes. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Because it's easy to fall for the programming. Why wouldn't you? Everybody's saying it. Even if parties like, that don't make sense. When 9 out of 10 people around you are like, yeah, but it works out, you're going to think it works out. It's not until you do it and you're like, wait a second. I guess it worked out, but I'm not happy. that you realize you was lied to. You realize you were lied to. You realize you were lied to. But what do most people do when they start to get feelings of, man, this life ain't what I want it to be? They go in more debt because they just naturally default to what they've been told is the answer. They buy more crap. Oh, that didn't make me happy? I'll buy more crap. It's just an endless cycle until you break free. No, I highly recommend. You're already on your phone all day long anyway. All of us are, for the most part. Tap into people who are talking about living differently, living outside the system, following your dreams, start there. Following your dreams, following your passions. Because if someone's talking about that stuff and they really mean it and they're not just trying to sell you a book or an online course, if they're not just trying to sell you something, hey, Naweo, thank you, Super Chat Squad, coming through again. I appreciate that, Naweo. Appreciate that. Let me read your comment here. It says the borrower slave to the lender. Exactly. And nobody wants to be a slave. Nobody wants to be a slave. Appreciate the support. Come through with the pounds again. Across the pond. Here we go. If you can tap into content of people talking to you about chasing your passions, chasing your dreams, and if they really mean it and they're not just trying to sell you something, if they're not part of the programming, but they're genuine and sincere, they will almost always get to like, all right, eventually we'll have to handle this financial freedom. Eventually, you're gonna have to find a way to pay your debt down, get rid of the frivolous bills, stop buying stupid stuff. That way, you can have some money stacked up, and then maybe you won't have to work that 60-hour job you're working. And that's when you start to really be able to make some strides, or you find a job that you really enjoy. Because here's the thing. Once again, not anti-work. But if it's just funny that like when you're living a life in line with your passions, say you do want to work, and you find a job you really like, even in the midst of that, like when you're living life in line with your passions, you're happier, and so you still can be having those thoughts of like positive thoughts and like figuring life out, and you can be at work, but when you love your work, it's almost like you're not at work, so you still can have these thoughts of like bettering yourself and growth and positive thoughts that will have a positive reaction in your life. But like when you're working and you don't really want to work and you know you're still going to be broke and you're down, you can't have these positive thoughts. You can't be, you're not going to be thinking positive and in the right space to like grow. You're not going to be in the right frame of mind when you're waist deep in the mire, in the muck of the matrix. You're not going nowhere. They got you. They got you. Yeah, you end up too tired to think. Like you just want to go home and just get away from it all, but you don't get away from it all because a lot of times the things we turn to get away from it put us further back in it. I don't understand how people still watch television. All the commercials. I can't do it. I got to be able to skip my commercials at least. I got to be able to skip my commercials, even though that's still part of the same game. Because now they just make 5-second commercials. But yeah, you worked until you're too tired to make any changes. It's like back in the day. Why do you think a lot of slaves didn't run away? They was too tired. You've been out in the fields picking cotton for 12 hours. All you want to do is go to sleep. They don't feed you a lot. You're wore out. You just want to go to sleep. I ain't got time to go to no Tubman meeting and talk about escaping. I ain't got the energy. I ain't got the strength. I'll just stay here. Take my little 1 day off a week. That's what they do. That's what they do. You're too tired. Even when you start to see, maybe something's not right here. Maybe I want to eat emotionally, mentally, physically drained. You're like, you know what? I'll just stick with it. I ain't got time to do this and figure out an escape plan. And that's for the people who actually see it. Some people never, there are some people out there who have done everything right, can't get ahead, are not happy, and they think it's their fault. They internalize it. Because society, the powers that be, will show you just enough of people who made it to make you think you can make it, and that it's your fault when you don't. The main message is you suck, you're ugly, you're fat, you're skinny, you're all these other things, so you're sick. That's a big one, you're sick. So you need to buy our stuff. But every now and then they'll let a success story leak through just so you can be like, oh, so-and-so made it. I should be able to make it too. And if I'm not making it, the fault lies with me. So you start hating yourself even more. And so you buy more of their crap to compensate. They'll give you just enough heroes. They'll dangle that carrot just enough to keep you running. They'll dangle that carrot. They will show you just enough women in the red dress to keep you in the matrix. I like that one. I like that one. That one was good. That one just came to me. I just thought of that right there. They will show you just enough women in the red dress to keep you in the matrix. They'll give you just enough heroes for you to be like, oh, so and so did it. If I'm not doing it, something's wrong with me. But they're not going to tell you that, like, you know what I mean? Like, huh, you know, a lot of the people they're going to prop up in front of you had help. Now, I do think it is possible for everyone to go after their passions, live their dreams. So I do think it is cool that, like, they do, let some people slip through and be heroes. But it's just like you can't pat me on the back once a day and say good job, and then the rest of the day you tell me I'm a piece of crap. You know what I mean? Which is what we get. Ah, good job, Tim. And then the whole rest of the day, like, Tim suck, Tim stupid. No, you can't do that. Moon Shadow, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, I appreciate the love. Thank you. Says keep it up. Definitely will. We gonna go. We're in truth mode. We're in truth mode. We're definitely gonna go. So it's like I think we have to, it all comes back to the self-hatred. To the self-hatred. And then after a while, you get to the point where you're like, something's wrong with me. I just can't do it. I just can't change. This is all I got. I've told this story 100 times, but I'll tell it 100 more. A lot of times we think something's wrong with us, or we can't do it, or we think the system is so rigged against us that we can't do it. And I disagree. I remember I was working with a guy one day, and I just got into my, like I said, I've told this story before. If you heard it, bear with me. I just got into my kind of reading motivational materials bag, and so I was feeling a little, whatever. And I was at work one day, and I was like, man, it wasn't a bad job, but I was doing grounds maintenance. I was walking around, driving around, picking up trash. Nothing wrong with that. I actually liked the job. It was right across the street from the University of Florida. Go Gators, down in Gainesville, Florida. Lots of stuff to look at and see down there. All the pretty people wandering around, amazing. I worked for millionaires. It was cool. Nice properties I was maintaining, but I'm like, there has to be a better. Some of the days they had us doing like crappy stuff, and I forget what we were doing that day, but like it was raining, or it was one of them days, and I was like, there has to be a better way to make a living. And the dude I was working with, he's a good friend of mine. He was like, yeah, but like, they got you like this, they got you this way, they got you this way. He's like, there's nothing you can do about it. And I was just like, that's got to be a horrible mindset to have. To think like this is your life and there's nothing you can do about it. Retired 2019. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Says, for years, Tim, I felt like a loser because I was single with no kids and not own a home. However, I feel like a new man since leaving the plantation. Nice. Yeah, and that goes back to like this belief that like there's certain things you have to have, and if you don't have them, there's something wrong with you. And it's just like, well, maybe I don't want them. And then people are like, well, if that's because you're weird, because if you should want them like the rest of us. Why don't you want them? You can't just not want kids or marriage or all that. You can't just not want a career. You can't, all this stuff. You can't just not want to go to college. There's something wrong with you if you don't want to go. That's the programming. Because it would just be natural normally to be like, I don't like that, so I'm not going to do it. Right? Natural, normal thinking is, I like that, I'm going to do it. I don't like that, I'm not going to do it. But in this society, if you say, hey, I don't like that, I don't think I'm going to do it, people are like, what's wrong with you? You can't do that. You have to follow. You must obey. Retired 2019, I appreciate the love. Super Chat Squad, thank you. And I remember that day just riding the car with that guy, and he was so sincere about it. And I went back years later, and he was still at the same job. No shade to him. He's taking care of his family. Daddy is Forrest. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, I appreciate the love today. Appreciate the support. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, Thaddeus. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. We just hit 500 people. I don't think we've ever had 500 people in a stream before, so thank you all so much for that. The thumbs up, the likes are looking good. I think this is my best stream numbers-wise ever. So thank you all for that. 250 likes, amazing. And I realized that like you can get so beat down and just so programmed that like even if you realize like there's something afoot here, you think there's nothing you can do about it. People really think there's nothing they can do about it. And I think the programming works that way. It's like we'll set it up so that even if they start to see behind the curtain and they start to realize that they are in the matrix, you know what I mean? They just think the agents are too powerful. They just think the agents are too powerful. There's nothing they can do about it. They'll give up. And I do really think that like it is important to realize the world you live in, the society you live in, but also know that like you have the power to change it. To know that you have the power to change it. You know, one of the beautiful things about transitioning from, and there's not many, but one of the beautiful things about transitioning from like actual physical slavery to like wage slavery and mental slavery now is at least that nobody's going to come for you currently if you decide to break free. No one's going to come for you physically. You know, your friends and family and bosses and spouses and coworkers and teachers are going to come for you, telling you you're crazy. What is this you're doing? Chasing your dreams? Living the life that you've been saying you want to live since you were a child? Who does that? But nobody's typically physically coming for you. So if you get the idea, okay, I can change this, you can change it. Emma Goosen, thank you. Coming through with the Canadian Cash Super Chat Squad. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much. Hype. Let's do it. Hype. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Super Chat Squad. International Super Chat Squad. You can reclaim your power. Yes. Like if you're like, you know what, I'm not doing this no more. And I mean, if you're deep in the debt system, lots of responsibilities, it might take a while. It might take a while. I always get comments from people being like, you know, people low key coming at me. It's like, Tim, I get what you're saying, but it's easy for you to say because you don't have a wife, kids, and all that other stuff. I'm like, the truth is the truth. The truth is the truth. Like I can't change my message to fit everybody's lifestyle. Nobody can. And at the end of the day, it's also like all of us have made decisions that like makes it harder for us to do certain things. My decision to live my life the way I live it makes it harder for me to do certain things. Trust me. Not having like a set address with all my paperwork matching to that address, things of that nature, because I like to move around, be a nomad, causes all kinds of difficulties. Trust me. You know how hard it was to get an apartment. But I accept that I made those decisions. That's my life. So like, yeah, if you're you know well into certain aspects of the matrix and the programming, it may take a little longer. It may be a little harder to break free, but it is possible. And I think it's really the only alternative because unlike the movie The Matrix, at least the movie The Matrix, like when you were tapped into the Matrix, they could give you like a good life. It was the one dude was like, I know the steak ain't a steak, but it tastes good. Put me back in there. At least they could give you a good life, right? You could have a good life in the Matrix, in the movie. In this Matrix out here, people ain't living good lives. People ain't happy. So it's like, what's the alternative? Once you see the game and when you realize what's going on, you see the programming, yeah, it might be hard, but like, what's the alternative? Because obviously you ain't happy now. Like if this game over here they want us to play made people happy, I'd say play it. Why not? All you got to do is pass the time from womb to tomb anyway. Play it. But it's not making people happy. So I'm like, why not start setting up your life to do the things that make you happy? That's what it boils down to, for me at least. I like to see people happy. I want to be happy. I like to see people happy. I like to see people fulfilled. You know, I want to see people living lives that mean something to them. Living lives that like make them happy and they're smiling and they're enjoying it and just like, and you know the funny thing is to enjoy life and really like get the most out of life actually is pretty simple. It's way simpler than this over here. It's way less complicated than all this other stuff they want us to do. To really enjoy life is really not that hard. My motto is do stuff you love with people you love. Very simple. Very simple, right? It's really not that hard. But they've got us to a place where like we're so used to all the complicated stuff, right? That when someone comes along and they're like, hey, just stop buying crap, get rid of the crap you got you don't need, you know, get your debt and your bills low so you don't have to work that much, spend the rest of your time doing what you love. People are like, ugh. Oh, wow. Wow. People are like, it can't be that simple. It can't be that simple. It is. Why would universe, God, the source, why would whoever put us here? make it complicated? Why would it make it complicated? We're the ones who fall for this complicated BS because it makes it seem like we're really doing something when it's complicated. Oh, yeah, yeah, work, 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 hustle, 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 go, 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 yeah, 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 yeah. It's like, nah, like you don't have to do all that. You really can just set up a life, and it may take some time, but you can eventually set up a life where you're just like working as little as possible, spending the rest of your days, the rest of your time doing things you love. It's really that simple. And you know what's crazy? You'll stop wanting to like accomplish all this crazy stuff. You'll just be chilling. You just be happy. You just be content. You'll just look out and see all these other people running around, acting crazy, doing all this other stuff to try to, tick off these these boxes that aren't making them happy, to reach these levels and these metrics that do nothing for them. You'll just be sitting back like, don't understand it. Don't understand it. But it's the programming. Yeah, I say happiness. Some people will say joy. Some people say peace of mind. I think we all know the feeling we're discussing. So I don't, I don't take time breaking down different terminologies. I think everyone knows the feeling we're discussing. The R Hodge experience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad. I appreciate that. Appreciate the support. Always good to see you, man. Says peace, brother. Super Chat train. Let's go. Super Chat train. Yes, sir. R Hodge experience coming through. Good to see you. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Yeah, I think we all know the feeling that we want out of life. And honestly, we all have different words for it because I don't really think there's a word for it. I call it happiness, joy. It's more of a feeling than, language cannot adequately describe the real essence of life. We try to with language. Again, complicating things. More complicated. You see what I'm talking about? Complication? People like to complicate stuff. You can't even say, I just want to be happy. That's not happiness. Language can't adequately describe like life. We try to. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Getting your life to a place where it's getting your life to this place. That look crazy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And it's possible. And it's possible. But we got to start breaking free from the programming. We got to stop buying crazy stuff we don't need, especially if we're going into debt to get it. If you go into debt for something, house, car, even when people go into debt for college, you go into debt for something you think is going to do something for you long term. Okay. But if you go into debt for a pair of Yeezys, I don't know you know what I mean? We got to get over this paying extra money. And let me qualify that. Let me qualify that. If there is a name brand or something like that that you just really like, you really rock with, I ain't gonna hold you. I've always said, because people love asking me, Tim, if you got a lot of money, what would you do? And I think I surprised a lot of people with their answers because I don't have a lot of crazy stuff I would do. But you know what? I might buy a Mercedes. I'm not even gonna hold you. I've always wanted like a 4-door black Mercedes. Always. I might buy one. Could I buy a Hyundai for less? These days, I don't know the way car prices are. But I could probably get a Hyundai for less. But I've always wanted like a black Mercedes. So I will qualify that by saying that that's not saying name brands are wrong. I don't want to say that. But if you're buying something that you really don't care about just to impress other people, that's how you stay plugged in the matrix. That's how they got you. They're in your neck. That type stuff. But if you just really like Balenciaga, go crazy. Just don't go in debt again. Actually, do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. But I could say from being around, lots of, blessed to do some traveling and met, a lot of different people. Man, some of these people I see that just live in a very basic, very simple. I see some people in seasonal work that are just so happy. That's why I talk about it. That are just so happy and like, they just go from job to job. Some of them ain't even got cars, right? They just go from seasonal location to seasonal location between their jobs. They're traveling. They're going all over the world. Just a couple suitcases. Some of the happiest people I've ever met. And there's no thoughts of career, like all this other stuff. They pay their bills. And the crazy thing is, a lot of them actually have some money. Like they got, I see the people. Some of them don't. But the ones that are doing it right, I've been watching their moves, and I'm like, oh, he's saving his money. She's saving her money. A lot of them got, I mean, they're traveling the world, a lot of them, so they have to have some money. But I'm just like, they're just out there living the dream, and it's not hard. They just work seasonal jobs. I'm telling you, man, we've been brought up to believe it's so complicated, that it is so complicated, and you have to work really, really hard, because if you're not working, the next guy's working harder than you. I hope and pray that the next guy is always working harder than me. Dude, I do not want to be the hardest working guy in the room no more. I'm taking these glasses off for a little bit. Hold on. I need to get the things on them to keep them propped up, because I keep having to push them back. I did it for a long, like jobs I like, I don't mind working hard. But I'm not trying to be the hardest working guy in the room no more. I'm trying to enjoy myself. If the next guy's working harder than me, well, you know what I'm saying? Blessings to him. I hope he gets what he's trying to get. I've been employee of the month before. They didn't give me no raise. Actually, it started a political storm last time I got employee of the month, because other people who felt they should have had it got all mad at me. It was crazy. It was the whole thing. I didn't get no extra money. I did appreciate the plaque. I've been employee of the month before. They didn't give me no raise. I had to keep, plugging away. And when I didn't get it the next month, I felt like I'd slipped. Yeah, that's my thing. Like, yeah, no one ever says the opposite. Like, if you're spending all your time working, then the next guy's happier than you. No one ever says that. You notice that? No one cares about like ranking like happiness. And when you do start talking about happiness, someone will always try to come along and like either flat out be like, happiness is whatever, or they'll be like, I don't think that happiness is. Whenever you start talking about happiness, someone always has to come along and like try to dump water on your happiness parade. You ever notice that? It's the same as when we try to talk about positivity. Now, you could talk about money and hustle culture and work and any of this other stuff, debt, bills, all this other stuff, and people will go along with it all day. Yeah, hoo, yeah, boom, boom. As soon as you start talking about happiness, positivity, simplifying your life, all this other stuff, joy, people have to try to poop on it. Now, they might pretend, like they're agree. Yeah, I agree with you for the most part, Tim, but what about nope, It's the programming. And the black Mercedes would definitely be an automatic. I'm not going to spend my time shifting gears in my Mercedes. Nah, it's going to be all this. Have my hand over bay. It's going to be all this. I think the electrolytes in this drink are kicking in. I'm drinking an electrolyte mix. I think they're kicking in because I started getting silly. Let's have another sip. And it's an amazing thing when you get to sit down and talk with other people who've jumped out the system or live on the fringes of the system. That's another reason I love the nomad life, because a lot of nomads are like that. Not saying you have to be a nomad to get out the system, but a lot of nomads have, and it's just good to have conversations with people like a lot of us, are having in the chat here. It's good to have conversation with people that is not solely revolving around like, what do you do for a living? How much money you make? What kind of shoes is them? You know what I mean? Like those conversations. Like I like being able to have a conversation with a person and they're talking about like their passions and their goals and their dreams. Like that's amazing to me. You know what I mean? That's amazing to me. If someone's like, oh yeah, I always want to be an artist, and so I'm doing this drawing, and I'm doing this, oh, like I've always wanted to start this type of business, blah, blah, blah. Or it's just like, oh, I got plans, give me 2 years, and I'm gonna be bum, bum, bum. Like that. Those are the conversations I like. I go around other people, it's just like work, work, mortgage, work. Which no shade to any of those, but I'm like, dang, handle your business, but have some passions. This ideal that like we this life is not meant for us to enjoy it or to do the things we love is more part of the programming. If somebody really believes that they're going to spend this time on earth doing XYZ, guess what? They're going to do XYZ or be working on getting to XYZ. You cannot stop a woman or a man who has their mind set on living a certain way. Sort of short of physically restraining them. You can't. You can't. You can't. Someone who's like, nah, I'm going to stand on the corner and beat on these cans and make a living. Give them 6 months, a year, they will be standing on that corner, beating on drums, making a living. Or however long it takes. You can't stop someone, a human being, like the human mind is super powerful. If you can lock it in and focus it on something, it's going to bring that to you. It may take some time. There may be some hurdles, some detours. It's going to bring that to you. But the programming has us thinking we're so wrapped up in the system, in the matrix, like we don't think that way. First step is belief. Or at least realizing that belief is possible. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I may not believe it now, but I really think that if I work hard enough on it, I could believe it. That's the first step. But it's hard for people to even get to belief. Too mentally tired after work. You want to come home and think about belief. You want to watch the game. Not that there's anything wrong with watching the game. There's 6 WNBA games going on today. So you know what I'm doing when this is over. Y'all know what I'm getting into when this is over. Not saying there's anything wrong with the game or sports. But, we have to take time to get our house in order. We have to take time to like get our life if we want to. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You can live your life totally in the matrix as long as you want. Like it's I never would tell somebody what they have to do. Let me take that back. But if you want a freaking awesome life, got to take some time and figure out best way for you to get out the system and get to living the life you want to live. Living the life that brings you the most happiness, joy, whatever. And fear is another big one. Fear, these days, I want to talk about this because of the world we're living in right now. I want to talk about this because a lot of the things going on. And I've said myself, I think we're in for some interesting years. I purposely use the term interesting because I don't want to use a term that is going to like frighten people. That's going to add to the fear mongering. Retired 2019. Thank you. Super Chat Squad coming through again. Let me read your comment here, sir. Tim, too many Americans place their validation on how many possessions they acquire. My fellow baby boomers got it wrong, and we are leaving a bill. I agree, totally agree, and that's part of the. You when I was growing up, I don't know if they still have them, but they had those bumper stickers. He who dies with the most toys wins. Wins what? Like, wins what? But you grew up seeing that your whole life. You believe it. You read that bumper sticker your whole life. I got to get more toys, but like not realizing that like. More toys means like more debt for most people. If you can afford the toys, cool, do what you want. But like more toys means more debt. Because it was like this was because I grew up in a household that like wasn't really into debt. I didn't really understand about debt. Like I really thought that everything people had, they paid cash for it because that's the way I was raised to like see the world, and that's the way I always was. They gave me some credit cards when I was 18 and I maxed them out. But like literally my whole adult life, other than like a car, if I need it, I pay cash for it. Like so I assumed everybody did that. You know how blown my mind was when I realized that most people put vacations on a credit card? Like, how blown this, I just realized that recently. I just assumed everyone paid cash for their trips and vacations like I do. I didn't, I just assumed. That's when I'm like, oh, like people are like in debt, trying to get possessions and other things. Like, for what? like, like for what? If I got more than you, I'm better than you. How? How? I don't think anyone's better than anybody, but if we have to take a poll, I think the guy whose bills are the cheapest is better. Not saying anyone's better, but you know what I mean? If you paying out X amount of dollars for all those toys and I'm paying out nothing, but I still get to hang out with you and use the toys, I think I came out ahead. Like I think it was either I think Jerry Seinfeld said, never own the boat. Always be the guy who has a friend who has a boat. You know what I mean? So thank you, Retired 2019. Hey, we got a super chat train. Tony Walton coming through. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate that, Tony. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Good to see you. Oh, I Storm. Well, I like that name. I.Storm. Coming true. Super chat squad. Super chat squad. Said I didn't take the law school entry test for 15 years. Okay. Okay. Is there a follow up to that? I respect it. Is there a follow? I don't really know where to go with that. But I respect it. Appreciate the love. Super chat train. Thank you. Oh snap! There's another one. Hey, Osama. Osama, what's up? What's up? What's up? Osama Abdul says congrats on 511 in the chat. Is that an all-time high? No, the all-time high is 533 now. That's the all-time high now. Yeah, these are all-time highs. So I appreciate y'all coming through. Yeah, these are all-time highs. This is crazy. This is crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. That was just realizing like, oh, like when I saw how deep the debt went. Because like if you grew up one, and this shows like how it all works. Like I grew up in a household where there was no talk about debt. You know what I mean? It was, you know what I mean? Like it just, I mean, yeah, there's the mortgage, but like there was not this ideal of just like credit cards. I don't think I've ever seen my dad or mom pay with anything with a credit card. Maybe one or two things, you know what I mean? But it wasn't. So I just saw the world. I just assume everybody lived like that. And that's what happens with a lot of people on the adverse. They see debt their whole life. They just assume everybody's got debt. They see, it being all about possessions and having these crazy bills and all this other stuff, consumerism, materialism. You just assume that's what everybody does. And it's not until you see somebody else like not doing it that you're like, oh, wait a second. That's why that's my message, my ministry. I'm just saying there's other ways. You ain't got to do it like me. I'm just saying if the normal way doesn't make you happy, there are other ways. That's my whole message. Oh, I Storm coming through again. Super chat squad, super chat train said I took it this year. Fear is debilitating. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. The fear had you debilitated, so you didn't take it for 15 years. You took it this year. Okay. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Thank you for that follow up. I like how you did that. You broke it down, 2 separate ones, donated twice. I appreciate that. And good luck with the law entry exam. All that. Thank you. Thank you. Mike01 Davis, my boy, good to see you. Said, listening since the stream started. You're preaching today, Tim. Hey, we're here. We're here. Appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate the continued support. Mike, I definitely do. Hope you're well. Hope the family's well. Thank you. No, my dad's not a doctor. I never said that. Nah, dad did the corporate life. Corporate life. Blessed that he provided a very good living to me, my sisters, and my mom. Blessed. Shout out to you, Pops, since we're talking about you. He might pop up in the chat. He comes in the chat sometimes. But yeah, it's just you think the whole world is a certain way. And it's designed, we're social creatures, so we take cues from people. Like I said in my couple of videos back, and this was a profound thought, like the fact that like 3 to 6 I'll say 3 to 10 people, 3 to 10 people, depending on how big your circle is as you're growing up, dictate how you see the world. Like it was actually in this. Where's my book? Where's the book? Oh, here it is. This is the book I'm reading now. Don't Keep Your Day Job by Kathy Heller. How to Turn Your Passion into Your Career. Really good book. Really good book. But honestly, this book is really just to promote her podcast. If I was a drinking man, I'd bring my friends over and we'd read this book and we'd play a drinking game called Take a Shot every time she says podcast. You'd be wasted by chapter 3, but chapter 2. But she had interviewed Martha Beck on her podcast, and I think Martha Beck had talked about that. Who I really like Martha Beck too. You should check her out on YouTube. She's hilarious and a good. Oprah said she's one of the smartest people she ever met, which is saying a lot. But a genuine person, I don't know her personally, but from the internet, she seems very genuine. Genuine. Um, because and she said, yeah, if you think about it, 3 to 10 people influence how you see the world because they're the people you're around the most growing up. And so, especially when they're older than you just believe what they say. We all believe what our parents say. You know what I mean? So if they see the world matrixy, you're going to grow up seeing the world that same way too. It's just natural. Old soul vibing, 432 hertz. That's crazy because this past week, including this morning, I've been listening to some 432 hertz meditation music in the morning when I'm meditating. So love that name. Super Chat Squad coming through with the pounds. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Said your positivity and words of encouragement are truly appreciated. How do navigate our fear negativity of this conventional world when you don't have people around with a similar mindset? How do you navigate? Okay. How do you navigate fear and negativity of this conditional world when you don't have people around with a similar mindset? Great question. And that's one of the reasons I love the internet. One of the reasons I love the internet is that it allows you, when you don't directly around you have people who think the same way as you or who are giving off that positive energy, positive vibes, the internet allows you to tap in with those people in those communities without being like in the same room with them or living close to them. And I think you get almost the same exchange of energy over the internet as you do in real life, almost the same. On a scale from 1 to 10, I think internet energy is about 8.5, real life energy is a 10. But I really think that if you are exchanging via the internet enough of that energy back and forth to the point where you really start to become like a more positive person, I think you'll start putting more of that energy out in real life. And I think people, even in your surrounding area, will be attracted to you if they're on the same wavelength. I really do think that the more positivity and the more fearlessness and love and joy you put out there, the more likely it is for someone to be attracted to that. And I think people will start, maybe not a lot, but at least one or maybe two people will come from you. Someone will move in the neighborhood and they'll think like you, or so, you know what I mean? Like, I just really think energy attracts energy. And I think the more we put it out there, the more likely we are to find anyone who's on a similar wavelength to be drawn to us. But I definitely recommend the internet. I love, really tapping into positivity and love and all that type of stuff, and in consuming content and being part of communities that are like that. Because you still get that exchange. I'm always saying I get so much love from these streams. If y'all knew, you know what I mean? Like, I really firmly believe that from the comments and the streams and the messages, I get so much love and it positively affects my life on a daily basis. Totally 1000% agree with that. So I hope that answered your question. The overall point is that we're the average person trapped in the matrix: debt, bills, consumerism, materialism, self-hatred, and work. Those are the 5 things I wrote down. But it is possible to get out. It is possible. And if you missed any of that, go back, watch the stream later. We talked about some really good stuff on those points. But it's possible to get out. Some people will always stay in it. Some people will never see it. Some people are like, what are you talking about? Matrix is a movie. Oh, we were talking earlier. Yes. I did get off topic about that. Let me go back to that. Thank you for reminding me. I did get off topic. I was saying that I really do think that we're in for some interesting times. Okay. And I wanted to cover this today. I think we are in for some interesting times. I purposely use the term interesting because I don't want to use any of the fear-mongering, make your heart stop, make your chest hurt, anxiety-inducing terms that everybody else wants to use. Everybody is out here fear-mongering because that's where the money's at. If you want your views to go up, scare people. You want your views to go up. All you gotta do is make a video. Gas is gonna be $10 by July. Click, 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 click. I always, whenever I see titles and headlines like that, I'm like, why $10? Why not $9? We pick these arbitrary numbers. Oh, $10, 15. Anyway, it's got to be $9 for 10. Why nobody talking about when it's gonna be $8? Anyway, so many people are out here just throwing out all this crazy stuff. That's gonna happen. They're doing it for the views. They're doing it for the eyeballs. They're doing it for the attention. Attention is the new currency. They're doing it for the attention. So you don't have to like give into all this fear. Nobody knows where gas prices are going to go. Nobody knows where inflation is going to go. Now, do your research and come up with your own hypothesis, and then prepare accordingly, however you feel you need to prepare. That's what I say do. But don't just listen and get all scared and nervous. You know, no one knows what's going to happen. You do realize that there has been inflation in the past, and then it went away. You do realize that there's been high gas prices before, and then it went back down. How many times have we seen gas prices go up and then go back down? I'm only 42, and I've seen it a ton of times. So it's like we don't have to like get all worried and, oh, I got to figure out. And let's just be real. Can we be real? Can we be totally honest? Can we be totally honest? Say all of us did our research, figured out what we think is going to happen in the world. Inflation, hyperinflation, economic crash, World War VII. I don't know. You do your research and you figure out like what you think is going to happen. You prepare accordingly. If all of us did that, right? At least half of us are going to be wrong, right? Like, if everybody in the world like behaved like a an adult, and instead of getting scared, got prepared, half of us are going to be wrong. You know what I mean? So there's nothing I guess my point is like nothing you can do. Yeah, you just have like, this is what we always do in life. We sit around, we worry about stuff, and then when it happens, we deal with it. Why not just wait and deal with it? People like, Tim, how are you preparing for inflation? I'm really not. When prices go up, I'll, you know what I mean? Now, I did say the other day that I might go to the store and buy up about $50 worth of tuna fish. I did say that. I said that. I said I might go to the store and buy up about, $50 worth of tuna fish, because tuna lasts for about, 5 years in the can, beyond its expiration date. I was getting prepared. I did a little research. So I did. I did say I might go to the store and stock up on tuna fish and get about 20 of these 40 packs of water. I did say I might do that. But guess what? What if I do all that and then there's an earthquake and my whole apartment building gets destroyed? There goes my tuna fish. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't plan. You know what I mean? You can try, but there's no guarantee. Let me take that back. You can plan, but there's no foolproof plan. You'll never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. You might as well just do, what you think, plan the way, prepare the way you think you should to keep you and your family safe. And then when things happen, you just deal with them. And what that does too is like, it just frees you up from feeling like you have to have it all figured out. I have no clue what's going to happen. I have some ideas. I have no clue. So like, and I don't have to worry about it because I know I don't know. Hey, Nick Johnson, thank you. Super Chat Squad. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Thank you, Nick Johnson. Hope you're having a beautiful, blessed Sunday. Thank you. There's no way I can know. And that frees me up to not worry about it. Because like when you think, oh, if I just, watch enough news, I can figure it out. Then when you don't have it figured out, once again, you think something's wrong with you. Everybody else seems to know what to do. All these experts know what to do. All the experts disagree. That's another thing. Watch enough experts, you'll see half of them disagree with the other half. And then they disagree with the half of what the other half says about the other half. Like, it's crazy. You don't know. You don't know. A lot of people say, let go and let God. You know what I mean? Just, bruh. Even in good times, crazy random stuff happens. And my thing is this, is the world just so great in a lot of ways now that I think we could use some changes. Life is amazing. It is what it should be. The moment is always amazing. The moment is always beautiful. But a lot of this stuff we've built on top of the moment, on top of life, we could stand with some changes. A lot of it's crazy that some of the same people who are like, oh, we need change, we need this to happen. Whenever stuff starts to happen that goes against the normal, they don't like it. I'm like, but you just said we need. How do you think all this radical change that you want to take place comes about? Like that which is has to go away. You can't have it both ways. You can't be like, I want to keep the system like it is, but make it totally different. Nah, man. Some of this, you know what I mean? I think we could use some changes. So I'm not worried about it. I'm thinking about no matter what happens in the next couple of years, I'm thinking about the beautiful, wonderful stuff that's going to come out of it. That's what I'm thinking about. And if I'm blessed to still be here and be a part of it, awesome sauce. Let's do it. Because then you get to, sit around 40 years from now and tell the stories about how you went through it. Why should the people who went through the Great Depression and World War II have the best stories? Still, we could be, we we could, and you do realize it's been like close to 100 years since the Great Depression. I'm just putting that out there. You do realize it's, in about 10 years. When was the Great Depression? 29 through 40 or something? You do. It's about to be that time again. All these things are cyclical, right? So like these things happen in 20-year intervals. So we're about to be 20-year intervals. Oh, okay, I'm just putting that out there. I don't want to get too deep. Miss Moda, thank you. Super Chat Squad. Appreciate the love. Thank you. Miss Moda. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Appreciate the support and the love. We're almost at 400 likes. This is a record-breaking stream, ladies and gentlemen, and I appreciate y'all being a part of it. All right, so that was pretty much my spiel. I'm sure I'll still do some spieling, but I want to be in the comment section now because y'all know a big part of this is the interaction. So if you got questions, now's the time to ask them. I probably won't be able to get to everyone's question, but you know what I mean? I'm gonna try. Shanks, love the name, says, do you think it was bad for us to divert from the hunter-gatherer lifestyle we had before 12,000 years ago? I will say I think life was simpler back then. And I'm sure, it depends on, it depends on what you look at, how you look at it. Is the average person's life safer now that we don't have to go out and hunt our food? Probably. So in that aspect, you could say it's better now. But is the average person more stressed out in our society now than they were back then? I think so. Because a lot of the stress we have isn't, oh, that woolly mammoth might charge and kill me. You know what I mean? I think they had a lot of stress as far as that, but like once that stuff was over, they lived a pretty stress-free life. Whereas we have all these stressors that like never go away. I feel like our ancestors, when danger wasn't in your face, lived a pretty stress-free life. We have stressors that never go away. You carry them around with you 24/7. Debt. That's a stressor that don't go away till you pay the debt off. As long as you're in debt, you got that stress weighing on you. You know what I mean? Like I've been very transparent. I have my Prius is financed. My monthly payment is super low, so I really don't think about it. But it's still debt in the back of my mind somewhere. That's something I have to worry about. I just think our ancestors didn't have those type of worries. So I think there was definitely a level of simplicity and bliss that came with hunting and gathering that we lost. Yeah. Hey, likely lost. You're the 400 like. I appreciate that. Good to see you. By the way, I think I see y'all making moves. Likely lost. I see y'all. I see y'all making moves out there. Appreciate all the love in the comments too, everybody. Thank y'all. Tips for being at peace living out a vehicle. This is life. I slept in my vehicle a few nights when I was road tripping, but I never lived in one. So I don't know if I'm qualified to answer that one. There's a lot of, the good news is there's a ton of vehicle dwellers on the YouTubes and other social medias. So I'm sure there's somebody out there who's done lots of videos on that, and if they haven't, they need to. But I don't know if I'd be the person to answer that one, sadly. Do I think there's an easy cure for depression, Mid South? I don't know if I think there's an easy cure. Real depression, as someone who went through it, I won't say there's an easy cure. Is it curable? Can you come up out of it? Yes, but I don't know if I'd say there's an easy cure. I know for me it was time. So, and everybody's depression, I think, is unique, and the factors that cause it or continue it to keep that allow it to continue are unique. So I know for me, I think it was time. I mean, there were things that helped. I had a psychologist that really helped me out. I had a loving parent. You know what I mean? Like I had things that helped, but I know for me, I think it was just time, and it was just something for some reason I had to go through. And I think a lot of people are like that too. Sometimes it just works itself out. Other people, it might be some. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not antidepressants. They work for some people. Others, psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist, I think helps a lot of people. Love in general, I think helps. Love in general, I think helps. But a lot of times it's a process. It's a process, and it's just one you have to work till it goes away. But I don't ever think there's an easy here. No. Iraq said, "Do you think sometimes we are blaming society for our bad decisions and falling for the tricks? We're not actually trapped in our lives; it's just a mindset." Oh, I do think a lot of times we put too much blame on society. Like I do believe that like society is responsible for a lot of the programming, but I'm a firm believer that yeah, we can change our mindset and like change our lives. I can definitely, there could be you know what I mean? Like if someone walks up and punched me in the face, I can blame them for punching me in the face. But if I punch them back and we both go to jail, I have to take responsibility from that. You know what I mean? But the lion's share of the fault goes to them because I was minding my business before they punched me in the face. But still, you know what I mean? I have some culpability in that as well. If I punch them back, we both go to jail because I could have moved differently. So like I like bringing to the forefront some of the things that I believe, some of the part society plays and the lives we live. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's up to us to like see what's going on and decide how we're going to react. And if we just go along with it, we're part of the problem too. We have to blame ourselves too. But even then, we have to realize that like, yeah, if we lived in a different society, a lot of our lives would be different. And I think better. Hey, Ron, coming through. Thank you. Super Cat Squad. Ron coming through again. So there's nothing wrong with embracing modern amenities and technology to make your life easier and comfortable. Just be careful and not get trapped by them. Facts. Totally agree, Ron, and I appreciate the continued support. And I would add, nothing wrong with enjoying technology, but for me, I find that a lot of people think that like technology is always better. And that's why I like to think back to like earlier times, because I don't think we're better off all the way around just because we have more technological advances. I disagree with that. I think there are a lot of things that were better off back in the day. That's just me personally. So yeah, I love the internet. Modern technology. I think the internet is one of the best pieces of technology ever. But I do understand that there are some things that come with the internet that we didn't have to worry about before. I was around in the 80s. There was no cyberbullying. Once you got out of school and went home, unless people called you, there was the bullies were gone. I didn't have to deal with the bullies until 9 o'clock the next morning. Now it never goes away. Another one of those stressors I was talking about that never goes away. So yeah. Appreciate you saying that, Keith. Riddick, thank you. Kristen, I am 42. Tired 2019, so thankful I gotta go to work tomorrow. Did my 30. Facts. That's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. Metaphysical might. Yeah, so many belief systems are false, man. There's so many. There's There's some other ones that were a little too controversial. I didn't put on my list, but there's some other belief systems by some other organizations out there that keep us, you know. And once you, the good news is once you start to see through them, then you can start to, break free from them. But some people, yeah, never think that anything's wrong. They think that their beliefs are right their whole life. Dr. Cornel West said something one day. I used to listen to a lot of his stuff. And Dr. Cornel West, he said that every few years you should challenge your beliefs, even the beliefs that you hold at your core. Every few years you should challenge them and make you like re-explain them to yourself. Instead of just going through life and be like, I believe this. Every few years you're like, why do I believe this? And re-explain it to yourself and make yourself re-believe it. Because you might have changed and your beliefs might change. So, damn, I don't believe that anymore. And I thought that was pretty cool. I'd never heard anyone say that before. I don't think electric cars are going to be the savior that people think they are. I mean, I drive a Prius, so I'm all for a hybrid or electric car, but I don't think they're going to save us. Comfort Zone Studios, the dog that was barking a lot, it still does every now and then. It still does 2-3 nights a week, but it's not as bad as it was. Like I can deal with it. Yeah, it's not every night. So shout out to whatever the owner did because it's not so bad anymore. Blessed. Real freedom. We think as a society that it's okay to borrow money that's created out of thin air because that's what people taught us. Like, I think the average person doesn't understand how money's created. That's one. I think the average person thinks that like there's gold in Fort Knox. I think the average person does not understand how money's created. Most money is created here. Like as much as like we talk about money being created out of thin air and like stimulus checks and all that. Do you know like a bulk of the money created in this country is through bank loans? Hmm? Most people don't know that. Like banks create money. Banks create a ton of money. That's why the money supply keeps increasing. Even without the craziness they did the past couple of years, the money supply keeps increasing because like they have to keep you getting in debt. And every time you take out a loan, you create money. I'll tell you how. Okay, I go to the bank and I need 50 grand because I want to start a strip club. Okay, I'm just joking. Anyway, whatever. I need 50 grand. So they loan me the 50 grand and then they charge me whatever percent interest. Let's just say, I don't know, 10% interest or something. Let's just say, so what would that be? 55, 10% interest. They loan me $50,000. I'd owe them what, 55,000 back? I think my math checks, whatever. Where did that 5,000 I have to pay them back come from? It just seems like, oh, you get it from some, but no, like that 5,000 was created because the banks put it on their books as profit. So $5,000 has just been created because they loan me money and the interest, where does that come from? I mean, if you think about it, say there was $1 million in circulation. Say there was $1 million in circulation and then you went to the bank to get a loan. And then they loaned you, they had 10 grand, they loaned you 10 grand. It's like, but you got to pay us back, 1,100. Where are you going to get that? Where are you going to get the extra money from? So every time there's a loan, like money's created because it becomes a positive on their books. It's profit. So that's how money gets created. Banks do it. Lending companies do it. The government does it with, they just make it, but, or get it from the Fed. But yeah, like banks create a ton of money. And that's how when you look at it that way, you start to see how crazy the system is. because we have to stay in debt. As we talked about earlier, we have to stay in debt to keep it going. And the more debt we get in, the more you inflate the money supply. You cannot infinitely inflate the money supply without eventually, from my limited understanding, some type of like inflationary event. If there's only a finite number of goods and services and there keeps being more money to pay for it, prices are going to go up. If there's only 1,000 things to buy and there's only $1,000 in circulation, everything's a dollar, right? Give or take, everything's a dollar. If there's 1,000 things to buy and there's $1,000 in circulation, everything's pretty much going to be a dollar, give or take. But if there's 1,000 things to buy and now there's $10,000 in circulation, everything's $10. This is basic stuff. Oversimplifying it, of course. But like, look this stuff up, people. Yeah, man, I feel like I went on a long tangent on that one. Michael, I got a little about some Solano the other day. I'm not big in crypto. Because I just don't have a lot of money I'm playing around with right now for investing. But I bought some Solano the other day, and then it promptly crashed. It went. I think I bought it at 50. It's like 37 now. But I'm very bullish on crypto. I think it's coming back. I think it's coming back. Like, I'm very bullish on crypto. Certain cryptos. Ray, yes, this will be available later. Totally. Travel Snacks just posted a farting video. No way. No way. By the way, if you don't know Travel Snacks, she's one of my fellow Nova Nomads, her and No Camp Fant. And in this stream, I don't have links to their channel. I usually do in my description box, but Travel Snacks is the homie. If she posted a farting video, I'm gonna have to check it out after this. Oh, you met Dr. Cornel West? Oh, cool. Yeah, I still eat Subway. I love Subway. Some people say gold, silver, some say Bitcoin. I just say this, folks. Don't put your trust in anything 100%. You know what I mean? That's all I'm gonna say. Don't put your trust in anything 100%. Do your research, make the best informed decisions you can, but just know that all throughout history, there's been sure things, that didn't pan out. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The real steel cat, I like that. He says, sometimes I think the automobile is a mistake. Sure, they get us around faster, but at what cost? Our cities are covered in concrete and asphalt. Everything is built at the scale of cars, not humans. And here's the question. Do we need to get places faster? That's what that's the thing with like a lot of technologies. People say, oh, it allows us to do this faster. Did we need to do it faster? Faster is not always better. And no one thinks about that. We just think, oh, I can create this and it'll do it faster, or it'll be more convenient. Is the convenience better? Could you ever figure that out? I don't know. I guess you couldn't figure that out until you tried it, but is the convenience better? That's why, I don't get all bent out of shape and yay technology like everybody else does. Throw a party every time there's a new technological advancement, because I'm like, maybe it's not helping us. Were we really that bad off when we rode horses? Have we done anything better with the speed that vehicles has given us? Other than the ambulance can get you to the hospital quicker? We just assume that, oh, we can do it better and we can do it faster, so it must be better. And it's like, I don't know. Before I jumped into this lifestyle, did I experience burnout? I won't say I experienced burnout, Nick, but I experienced, what am I doing? You know what I mean? I wasn't like burnt out because I actually kind of enjoyed. I was doing like lawn maintenance when I before I started living this life, and I like doing it. So I never experienced burnout, but it was just like I experienced where is my life going? You know what I mean? I experienced what am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like that's I didn't really get burnt out. I just kind of started questioning like this is not what I want to do the rest of my life. Like what do I want to do? A lot of good advice in the chat. Okay. Let's go to Lukenbach, Texas. Willie and Waylon and the boys. You didn't think I knew that, Mikey J. This successful life we're living got us feuding like the Hatfields and McCoys. Ooh. Dwayne, Hank Williams, don't get. I was about to go there. I was about to go. Don't get me on my classic country bag. Hank Williams Payne songs and Jerry Jeff Strain songs. Blue eyes crying in the rain. Out in Lukenbach, Texas, ain't nobody feeling no pain. Stop. Okay, okay, okay. That's all y'all get. No more singing. Yeah, check out Travel Snacks. Yeah. She's good people. Do I ever go bird watching? Nah, Renegade, not really. When I walk around the parks and stuff, if there's birds, I look at them, but I don't ever set out to go bird watching. You know, birds do their thing. I just not a big, Retired 2019, you're gonna have to find a female roommate in the next team. Hey, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Oh, Iraq. I don't think marketing is immoral. But like you said, it can be used for good or bad. So I don't think it's inherently evil or immoral on its own. But I think the way you use it, as with most things, I mean, like nothing's evil. It's how you use it. You know what I mean? It's how it's done. Yeah, a lot of this technology, tech over 50, you're right, is moving us away from the natural world. We're getting further and further away from nature, and we are a part of nature. So I think that therein lies the rub. You know what I mean? Is that like we're a part of nature, and I think we're happiest when we're in line with nature. And so when we're constantly creating these technologies that pull us away from that, I think it's pulling us away from living in the best state possible. You know, my personal opinion. People disagree. My personal opinion. Persona. I don't know if the robots will make 9 to 5 work obsolete. And I also here's the problem with that discussion. I was like, oh, the robots will come, they'll make 9 to 5 work obsolete. How people gonna make money then? They're not gonna be like, oh, we're giving these robots jobs and we still gonna give you a check. That's my only question. And maybe there's an answer that I'm not seeing, but I'm like, yeah, if the robots start taking jobs over, the robots take the plant over, everybody at the plant gets fired. They don't keep paying the people. We no. So like I don't the ideal that the robots are going to come and free everybody up to live wonderful lives. Yeah, if the system changes, but if the system stays the same, you're just going to have a lot of people with no job, no money, which isn't better. So yeah, that is a good point. We probably wouldn't need the ambulance as much if we didn't have as many cars. What I want to do with the rest of my life, Kimberly? Same thing I'm doing now. Same thing I'm doing now. Travel, content creation, hang out with my friends. I got nothing. I just want to do more of the same. You know, take level up, take bigger risk in the things I'm doing now. But I'm doing, yeah, I'm good. Like I just more of the same. Like honestly, blessed to say, I just want to do what I'm doing now. If I can live the life I'm living now till I die, I'm blessed. Blessed. I'm blessed now. But yeah, that will be. I won't have no complaints when it's time for me to go. Hopefully that'll be another 30, 40, 50 years. But I love my life now, so I just want to be able to continue to live it. And so I try to make. I was reading. I got to talk about this book every day. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to go ahead and say tomorrow's weekly daily ward, tomorrow's daily ward, which will drop at 5:45 in the morning. I'll be reading a chapter from this book, so check it out. But cause and effect, learn that from that book. And so I try to do things, and every cause has an effect. Every effect has a cause, excuse me. So I try to do things in my life now that will ensure, I'm starting to try to do things in my life now that will ensure that I can continue living this life forever, basically. I'm not Tim Williams Jr. That was Waylon, by the way. That was the Outlaws, by the way. Someone said, was that Garth Brooks? No, that was the Outlaws. The Highwaymen. Whoo! Look at me. What? I'm losing it. Hold on. Yeah, it was the Highwaymen. No, not that. Yes, the Highwaymen. Okay, thank you. I said the Outlaws. No, I was wrong. It was the Highwaymen. Okay, whew. I'm getting. It's been a while since I talked about any of that. Painted Sunset. You about to get some cats? Okay. I hope you're talking about cats. Okay. Hold on. I think we got a. Hey, Fareed James. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Says UBI and the metaverse for the masses. Ha! Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Let me get that out the way before I disagree. No, I'm just... let me get that out the way before I shoot your comment to pieces. The good thing about super chats, you can't retract them. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm the metaverse is going to do what it's going to do. I'm more UBI. I just don't. No one has been able to explain to me how it would work. I get the concept, but I just don't think it's going to work. If you could just give everybody money and that would solve all the problems, why haven't we done it before? That's my big question. If you could just create money out of thin air and just give it to people and it would solve all our money problems, why has no one done it yet? The president who did that would get reelected every year. I know we're only supposed to let them run 8 years, but President Ward gave us free money and it solved everything. He's never leaving office. That's a politician's dream, to solve all our problems just by giving people money. And you don't have to come up with the money. You can just create it out of thin air. Why are we not doing it? I don't think it works. Once again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. There's only a finite amount of goods and services. If everybody now has $5,000 more a month, prices are going to go up reflective of that $5,000 more a month. I didn't go to college. I didn't take an economics course, but from my very limited understanding, that seems to make sense to me. So I just personally don't think UBI is the answer, but I appreciate the love. Super Chat Squad. Or are you saying that's what they want for people? Or are you saying that's what they're going to try to do? Maybe that's what you're saying. Maybe you're saying it ironically. Sometimes, I don't always get that. Okay. Oh, Renegade, I've definitely, I think a lot of people have noticed that the United States is a very violent country. I think it's just the way I think weapons play a big part of that. But, I think that's just the way the country was created and allowed to develop. It just, we just view ourselves as I think a lot of people aren't mad about that. They like the fact that we're, gun toting, whatever. And that's their right. I'm not saying either way, but yeah, the United States is a pretty violent country. And it's always funny to me when people in the United States are scared to go to other countries that are far less violent. That's always funny to me. Glad you liked the last video, Paint and Sunset. I mean, yeah, I don't doubt that they'll try UBI if when it starts getting too crazy. I'm sure they might try it in a couple places, but Water baby, I agree. Value people over things and money. I agree. I agree. Totally agree. Totally agree. Sadly, people don't. The alternative, I agree. Yeah, you start giving people free money, money loses its value. Our money's already losing its value. Another thing a lot of people don't know, our money is this is the thing I have to people keep telling me, and I'm really like, okay, because I've always been a saver, and they're like, when your money's just sitting in the bank is losing value, and I'm like, yeah, I got to think about that. But yeah, it's our money's already losing its value. You start giving out more money we're gonna see. We're gonna see. The name of that country song was Lukenbach, Texas, I think. Lukenbach, Texas, Willie and Waylon and the boys. Ah, man. So there's something about a classic country song. Man. Yeah, and then we got to factor that in too. Yeah, they'll do UBI, but it'll probably be like digital. They'll give you 5,000. They'll give 5,000 Fed coin, U.S. coin. It'll be digital, and they'll track what you can buy, track what you buy, tell you what you can't buy. Yeah, Sarah, the cost of I'm just like, and I'm not bashing America here because every country has its problems, but it's funny to me, like some of our bigger problems are the ones that like the average person who's like, go America, doesn't even realize is a problem. Like healthcare is crazy here. Healthcare is crazy here. And we just think it's normal. We don't go to Mexico for healthcare where it's way cheaper. Why not? It's why not? Why not? Their doctors can't be educated just like ours. I mean? It's just we just have these misconceptions about other countries that are funny to me. Meanwhile, thinking we're the greatest country in the world, which is a saying that like I don't care where I was born or where I ever live, I will never say because how can you say that? Until you've been to every single country and lived there a year, you could never say something is the greatest country in the world. And even then, your metrics of greatest country in the world is going to be different from somebody else's. It's crazy. Anyway, Iraq said, rather, it's good question. Rather than free money, can't they just pay us more and put price caps on basic necessities like shelter? Yeah, but like, what does that do to their profits? Which is what it all goes back to, is greed. You know, they give out free money, you're going to spend it on their crap, so they get it right back. You start paying people more, putting caps on stuff. Oh, now you cutting into profits. So Vonar, where would I move? Outside of America? I think Southeast Asia. I'd like to do that, maybe. I don't, yeah, renegade. That's one of the major questions of the world, of humanity. Why can't we live in peace? You know, that's. I mean, that's beginning of time question. Why do humans kill each other? Just seems like it would be so easy for there never to be war. I mean, the answer is simple. If we all loved each other, there'd be no war. There'd be no violence. Like, why can't that be? When so many of us do love and do live our lives just like, just wanting I just want to take care of me, myself, my friends, my family. Like, I ain't trying to harm nobody. But we've always had people amongst us who want to. That's why I'm a big believer that, like, to really get the most out of this life, you have to look beyond it. You know what I mean? I have to resign myself to the fact that someone could walk in here right now and shoot me in the face and totally end my life and all the good stuff I got going on. That's a possibility. That is that person's, they have free will, they can do that. So I have to look beyond just this life, because it can be taken away at any moment, which actually allows me to live this life more and take more risk. You do realize, like, if we were immortal, we would never leave the house. The slightest thing might have, the slightest mistake will affect you for eternity. I'm never leaving the house. But the fact that this thing is temporary, even if somebody does come in here and blow my face off, they're really not, it's going to, it'll suck from a standpoint of there's things I want to do, there's people I want to see, but they're really not harming me, because I'm just going to move on to my next existence, which was going to happen anyway. So, like, when you look at it from that level, yeah, I hate crime, I hate violence, I hate all that type of stuff, but it's like, yeah, And I imagine the universe probably looks at it from that standpoint as well, too, which is why it's allowed, because it's like, yeah, you're done with Earth, but you're just going to the next one. Not that big a deal, human. But yeah, I wish it wasn't like that. Yeah, I think, if you trace most of our problems, they go back to greed. They go back to greed. How hard is it to change who you think you are? I definitely think it takes work, Ricky. It takes work, but I don't think it's hard work. I think it's repetitive work. And so just repeatedly giving yourself positive messages about yourself and who you are, and telling who you want to be and heading in that direction. I don't think it's hard work, but it's very repetitive work. Renegade said, do you personally feel safer in different countries than in America? I felt very safe in other countries, but I have to admit, I feel very safe in America. You know what I mean? Like, I don't I've been to places sometimes where I was like, ooh, that's why I don't be in huge cities too much. But I feel pretty safe in America. But I felt super safe in other parts of the country, in other countries, other parts of the world. I felt safer in some major cities in other parts of the world than some of the major cities here. But I feel pretty safe every day. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not going to say overall I feel safer out the country, but I feel safe out the country, and 90% of the time I feel safe in the country. I don't let a lot of and once again, I've resigned myself to the fact that I might go to Target and somebody shoots the whole Target up and I die. You know what I mean? So, like, I just really don't. If there's imminent danger in front of me, okay, but I don't drive around in fear of my fellow Americans or the police or any of that. Like I feel pretty safe pretty much every day, So I think a lot of this mindset. Hey, lost. I'm with yeah. I think that the generations in the past they believed in the work hard mentality, and I think it worked for a lot of them. We have to realize that too when we're like, why do these older generations believe a certain way? It worked for them, and they saw it work for their parents. So like that's what they know. But a lot of us, we've seen it not work. You know what I mean? So like I think that's where the disconnect is because like if they've seen it work, it's hard to convince them that it's no longer true now. But for a lot of us, we've been raised seeing it not work. So it's just like that don't make no sense. Eat, sleep, run. I'm with you. Yeah, we're all dying. Just some of us sooner than later. And once again, you just move on. It's not a big deal. And I firmly believe that, like for me, the thing when I think of death, I have friendships that I don't want to end anytime soon. And I want to have another 30, 40 years, 50 years to have those people in my life and to feel that love and to I got friends that are just having kids and like I want to see their kids grow up. You know what I mean? Like I want to see, just them live their life and that's what kind of gets me when I think of dying is like, man, there's some stuff I really want to see. But I do believe that I know there's some people in my life now that I've known before. So I'm like, hey, even if I don't get to, whatever, see a lot of this stuff, I'll see them again. We'll run it. Our paths will cross again somewhere in this thing we call the universe. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's beyond that. It's not really a big deal. You just go somewhere else. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to jump off. That was right at like the 2 hour mark. I think that's a good time to end the stream. This was an amazing stream. We hit record high numbers. So thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all so much for that. We almost hit 500 likes, which is incredible. Actually, if we could get 6 more people to hit the like button before we go, that would be 500 likes. 3 more people. 3 more people. That'd be 500 likes. That'd be pretty cool. 1 more. 2 more. Oh, one more. Two more. There we go. We did it. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Big shout out to the Super Chat Squad, Super Chat Train, the International Super Chat Squad, everybody who showed love of a financial nature. I really appreciate that. Thank you. But big shout out to everybody who was here. Crazy numbers today. Crazy thumbs up. And it was a really good message, really good back and forth conversations. The chat was good. Only had to block like one person. So that was amazing. Thank y'all so much for this. This was a joy and a gift to me. Hope y'all got something out of it. Stay blessed. Stay abundant. I love each and every one of y'all. I will talk to y'all soon.